What is up, First fans? Welcome back. Today we've got some waiver wire action from a fun-filled Week 1.
Week 1.
What'd you think, Devin? Did you like it?
It was a little weird seeing all the wide receivers and running backs in single-digit numbers.
Yeah, huh?
That was a little weird.
Some good players didn't have very good games.
That too, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So don't get too crazy, though. This is Week 1.
Yep.
Week 1 every year is a little bit wild.
Yeah, don't trade away Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Or Calvin Ridley. Or who else didn't have a very good game that was a good player? Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, yeah. There was another running back.
Yeah.
Oh, James Robinson.
Yeah.
He should have done better.
Speaking of James Robinson, I wonder if he's going to be any good. Are we wanting to pick up Carlos Hyde?
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
I still have faith in James Robinson. Carlos Hyde's never really been a number one. And James Robinson was last year. I would still put my faith in James Robinson for at least a couple more weeks.
Even with this coaching fiasco that doesn't really want to favor him?
I mean, it's just 1 week.
That's true.
You could say the same thing for Elliott.
But we didn't see much from Robinson. We know they paid Zeke. Zeke was a first-round draft pick. He just got paid, $90 million over, the next 5 or 6 years?
Yeah. I mean, they planned on using James Robinson as the number one running back, supposedly, even with Etienne healthy. So, I mean, they planned on using him, even when Etienne was there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they like him.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, don't pick up Hyde or pick him up and stash him?
I would say no.
Okay.
No.
I'm kind of feeling the same. To be honest, I don't want any part of this Jacksonville backfield.
Yeah,
so
I'm starting to feel the same way.
you can take that for what it's worth. And on to another player that's in that same scenario for me. Well, actually, all my running backs today I don't feel great about. But I've got Elijah Mitchell from the San Francisco 49ers.
I also have Elijah Mitchell.
Yes.
I love Elijah Mitchell so much.
I'm beginning to dislove the San Francisco backfield.
Well, I said that last year.
Yeah. I think we might have to go for that this year.
I don't think so. I like Elijah Mitchell.
I know you like him, but they also have a guy named Trey Sermon.
I don't like Trey Sermon, though. So watching Trey Sermon's highlights, I never actually saw him as good or talented.
But they do.
And
obviously, they drafted him early, moved up in the draft to get him.
Obviously, they don't see him as talented.
Well, they...
For benching him for someone else.
But I heard... Okay. I don't know if this is true, but I did hear the reason they benched him is because he does not play special teams. And they kept Elijah Mitchell on as the backup because he did play special teams. So he ended up starting because Mostert got hurt. But he wasn't going to be a starter or even play a lot, supposedly, but he was going to be on special teams.
Well, Mostert's out for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
So I can expect Mitchell to play a lot more.
Or are now they going to activate and Sermon will now take Mostert's spot. And Mitchell will be relegated to that backup special, maybe a third down role.
Watching Elijah Mitchell's highlights compared to Trey Sermon's highlights, I liked Elijah Mitchell way, way better.
Yeah.
So I think Elijah Mitchell has more talent. He could do more. If Trey Sermon's in, I think he'll instantly do less. I think he'll still do well because it's, Kyle Shanahan's offense.
But I still don't like either of them because if they're both in, they might get some, or one might get the hot hand, or the other one might get the hot hand, or they might get injured. I mean, it's been like that. I went back and looked at San Francisco 49ers for the last 2 years. They have not had a solid running back over the last 2 years. No. It's been a bunch of mixed people that just, some of them have really good games, but then the next week they're not starting or they get injured and it goes to the next running back.
This is exactly why I wanted nothing to do with San Francisco's backfield last year and this year. But I'm very high on Elijah Mitchell. Okay. I'm willing to take a chance on him. Okay,
so are you saying give up a bunch of fab money to get him?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so what's a bunch? What are you comfortable giving up? I mean, half your stack? I mean, we start with, 100% right now? If you start with $100 fab bucks, are you willing to give up 50, 30, 20? 100?
That's a tough one because, I mean, it's just week one.
Yes.
There's going to be players throughout the year. Your players might get injured. Like, if McCaffrey gets injured and Chuba Hubbard's out there, you're going to want money. So, I mean, it definitely depends on the situation that you're in. But if you're in a situation to where you can just stash them on your bench, out of 100, I would probably bet 20.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fully comfortable on him. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, mostly because I don't care about the backfield. He looked pretty good when he played. Of course, it was Detroit Lions. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, their defense kind of sucks.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Do you like Elijah Mitchell? Let us know in the comments below what you think. And speaking of comments below, Travis Kelce Collector Card right there. All you have to do is comment on any 2 videos.
Like 2 videos.
And
subscribe.
Subscribe. Easy. Once you subscribe, turn on the notifications. You'll get notified as soon as our videos go live. And you get all this information right away. So, let us know about Elijah Mitchell. Mm-hmm. You got another guy for us?
I do. We'll go with Nelson Agalor.
Nelson Agalor.
Nelson Agalor. He's only owned by about 29% of leagues right now.
I mean, people were pretty unsure about how the Patriots were going to divvy up their passes. I mean, they have a bunch of players they signed, and he was new quarterback,
number 1 wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So, and against Miami's defense, I didn't really expect a lot from New England's offense anyway, especially Mac Jones' first game. Mm-hmm. So I would expect as the weeks go by, him to get even more targets, more yards. So, I think we're looking at possibly a wide receiver 2 here.
You think he's the wide receiver to own on that team, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, not Jacoby Myers?
No. I understand the skepticism before week 1, but right now there's a lot more clarification, and it looks like Nelson Aguilar is going to be that number 1.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar. All right, I'm going to stay with the wide receivers and jump into Sterling Shepard.
Ooh, this is interesting.
Oh, yeah?
I was thinking about it, and then I stopped thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, in one of our leagues, I actually picked him up and was going to play him. I had a couple players that I was worried about injury-wise playing or not playing. They ended up playing, so I actually ended up dropping him and did some other moves. But I do feel that Sterling Shepard is a viable play every week he's healthy. Daniel Jones seems to really like him. I mean, this week was a really good week for him. I wouldn't expect this all the time, but he did have 9 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. He does get a lot of targets, usually not this many yards. But when I was looking back to the games he had played, he averages about 8 targets a game,
right?
Which is pretty good. So if he's getting that many targets, you could do worse. You could put him in as your flex or trade away another player in a package to get something and still use him. So, if Sterling Shepard is available.
Yeah. I mean, me being an OU fan, I like Sterling Shepard.
There's one thing with him being the OU fan that I've come to notice is that there's a lot of OU players in the NFL.
But yeah, I like him. The skepticism I had with Sterling Shepard is Kenny Golladay.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think Darius Slayton was going to disappear. Mm-hmm. And then they had Kadarius Toney, which they, drafted very high first round.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was going to happen. But Sterling Shepard definitely has the talent. He's just he's very concussion prone.
Yeah, very injury prone. So You're not maybe going to get to use him the whole year. Maybe this year he finally gets lucky and plays the whole thing.
It takes pressure off of him.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a wide receiver for you.
I like it.
All right. Who else do you got?
I have Mark Ingram.
Okay. I've got Mark Ingram as well. Okay. Although, as we alluded to earlier, at least I did, I don't love this pickup by any means.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's kind of like it's a soft pickup.
Yeah.
If you have depth and you want to get involved in that Houston running game, I think he's the one to target here.
He had 26 carries. He got a big workload, although he only had 85 yards. He did get a touchdown. No pass catches, which if you're in PPR leagues, that's very limiting. If he doesn't get that touchdown, you're not looking at a very good game.
Yeah. Yep.
Even though he had 26 carries.
Yeah, the volume's definitely there. And I mean, if you look at a lot of running backs, they tend to go up and down when it comes to yards per carry.
Yep.
The problem with him is this his high or is this his low?
Right. And they have 2 other running backs, is this his week?
Yeah, that's true.
Will they flop to somebody else next week?
It could be David Johnson next week.
Yeah, or Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay.
We just don't know. So I wouldn't spend much on him if he's available and you can pick him up on the cheap and you want to stash him or you really need a RB2. I wouldn't feel comfortable for sure playing him, but you can play him and see if he continues on.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. You got another player?
I do. I have Jared Goff this week. He did very good this week.
He's going to be the garbage king. The trash man.
Time. And, I mean, he was very good outside of 1 interception.
Yeah.
He did very, very good. I will say there is one problem. I mean, throwing 57 times in that game, that's not going to happen every week. Even with all the garbage time, it's unlikely. So you just kind of cut it down a little bit, and you're looking at 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is something that I would love to have every week.
And, they're not going to be playing the San Francisco defense each week, too.
Yeah, San Francisco has a pretty good defense.
Yeah. They did get a lot of garbage time stuff, but I think San Francisco was giving that up. In the first half, it was pretty hard to come by. So another thing that did come from that game, which was good to see, is that DeAndre Swift looked nice. He got a lot of that dump off and slow.
I love that.
Yeah.
One thing that I loved the most about that is that he did it while injured.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was something that I didn't know about. Is that if he was going to do good when he was injured and he played through his injury.
Yeah.
And that's always something good to see.
Yes. Yep. Very good. All right, Jared Goff. I've got a quarterback also, Sam Darnold. He had a pretty nice game. 24 of 35, 279 yards. Only 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and 1 rushing touchdown. So that was nice to see. I think this is kind of what you might continue to see. He's got a ton of weapons. Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall Jr., DJ Moore. So he's got plenty of weapons to be able to keep up this kind of game. And it wasn't like he went crazy.
Yeah.
But he had a good, safe, solid game. So if you are looking for somebody in a 2-quarterback league, I know in another league we're in, which is a 2-quarterback league, he has not been drafted. So that could be someone that you might switch out. So all right, on to
defenses.
Okay, is that it for wide receivers, quarterbacks?
I also had Sam Darnold.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, you pretty much said it. He had a good week, looked really solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
And I don't think they had to do much more because they kind of had that game, it felt like, in hand. So if he ends up having to be in more of a shootout game, I think that score could go up.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson didn't look great.
No.
And I think they could absolutely look better.
Yep.
So, I think this is definitely not Sam Darnold's ceiling. He looked good.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a couple defenses for you, too. Defenses are important in winning your championship, especially if your league has good scoring for them. If you get return yards or extra points for sacks, you have to look at your scoring in every league. But in a lot of leagues, defenses can score a lot of points. So it's important to maybe stream defenses. Just don't play the same defense every week unless you have a really good defense and or really good matchup. But if not, look to add a new defense and try to look a week ahead of time. So, I mean, right now, everybody's going to be picking up maybe these defense. Look to that 3rd week and say, okay, what are the matchups that 3rd week? And maybe plan ahead a little bit.
Right.
But I don't know who you have, but I have one defense that's going to be good for maybe the next 3 weeks. So we'll start with you because you had 2 defenses.
2 defenses.
Yeah.
All right. My first one, I'm just going to go with Dallas Cowboys.
Really? I got to hear why on this one then.
Well, during the offseason, I think they looked really good.
Okay.
They were adding a whole bunch of players during the offseason, during free agency, and then the draft, they focused heavily on their defense.
Micah Parsons looks pretty good.
Dan Quinn was said to be a really good defensive coordinator, and he's kind of proven that. Against Tampa Bay, they slowed him down.
Yeah.
And that's not taken lightly.
Right.
Okay? Tom Brady with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Gronk. I mean, to slow him down, and not only do that, they intercepted him. Yeah. Twice.
Yeah, they had 4 turnovers? Was that the game that had 4 turnovers?
I don't know if they had 4 turnovers.
I think Tampa Bay had 4 turnovers that game, and they still lost, which is ridiculous. If you have 4 turnovers, you deserve to lose.
Yeah. Well, I know 2 of those turnovers were interceptions.
Yeah. Well, I know Ronald Jones fumbled.
Oh, right.
And then, so we're not talking just quarterback. But, I'm pretty sure it was 4 turnovers. So.
I had him.
Yeah.
I didn't play him.
Right.
But yeah. But yeah, Cowboys defense.
That's not what I was thinking of. But yeah, so that's it's an interesting defense.
This is probably their worst matchup.
Do you know who they're playing this week?
This week, I looked it up just recently.
Is it a home game? I guess I could pull it up here for the folks at home.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, they also have a good division.
Yeah, if it's a divisional
Giants
game,
twice.
yeah, for sure. That'd definitely be good. So
Giants twice, Washington, who really doesn't have a quarterback right now, twice. Yeah, they really should do very well.
Okay.
Who are they playing?
I don't know. I'm very slow. I didn't have it pulled up, so it's going to be a moment. We'll get to that here next. At the end, we'll let you know who they're playing. But the next defense I have for you is the Saints defense.
Okay.
They obviously looked really good against Green Bay, playing in a neutral field. They were at home, but not playing at home with the hurricane. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty good if they did that against Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Their next 3 games, though, are Carolina, New England, and the New York Giants.
Ooh.
Yeah. So a couple of rookie quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, who we just talked about. We don't know for sure he's capable of having that kind of game where it doesn't go well, or turnovers, sacks, all sorts of stuff.
Right.
And return yards. So if you get return yards, they've looked pretty good at the return yards. But yeah, after Carolina, I definitely like the New England and the Giants, because neither of those teams are likely to score much.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a good one.
So, all right. And you've got for your third defense?
My third defense. My last defense. All right.
Our third defense.
Do you know who the highest scoring defense is this week?
I do not. Who is?
Arizona.
Really?
Yeah, against Tennessee. Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. I mean, Tennessee has a good offense.
Yeah.
And Chandler Jones sacked Tannehill how many times? I think I counted like 5.
Lot,
yeah. He looked great this game. They also drafted Isaiah Simmons in the first round. Definitely a great pick. They also added J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
And Budda Baker looked really good. So, yeah, I'm actually thinking about dropping my defense and adding them.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to finish number 1 this year.
I like it.
They played really good.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they that's the thing, too, about defenses from year to year. They weren't as great last year, but they added in some new pieces, had a good draft, and now that defense can change over, especially with their offense. The offense can put up enough points, it's going to put pressure on the other team's offense to try to keep up, and then those turnovers happen.
Yeah.
So I like that call on that defense, too. Back to the Cowboys, if you guys are interested. They've got the Chargers next up, which isn't, good or bad. It's probably a neutral matchup at best. And then they get Philadelphia, Carolina, New York Giants, New England Patriots. Yeah. That's a pretty good matchup, too. So,
yeah.
I mean, you might pick them up this week and maybe not play them against the Chargers. Look to see how they do this week. And if they, have a pretty decent game, then, maybe those next 4, they're going to probably look a lot better. Because the Cowboys are going to put up a lot of points again this year. And if they're doing that, like we just mentioned, it's going to force the other teams to try to put up points. And when you're having to do that, that's when those turnovers can be created.
Yeah.
I like it. So what do you guys think? Do you have any pickups that you'd like to mention? Put them down in the comments below. We're always interested in hearing about pickups. So, and I know a lot of other people read the comments. They like to, get that info as well. So put that in the comments down below. Don't forget about our Travis Kelce Collector Card. Put in your comments and like the videos. And down below, you'll see how to acquire this card for free. No charge. These are based off these portraits that were hand done. We had them also made into these 5x7 collector cards. So pretty excited to give those out. Anything else to add, Devin?
I think we said it all.
Okay, thanks for watching our waiver wire pickups. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you all won your games.
Yes.
And hope you win next week. We'll be having a couple more videos come out, so look for those. And until then,
always remember to
finish first.
Thank you for listening to the FantasyFootballFirst.com podcast.
Jackson throws complete. Crabtree has it for a touchdown.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Get more fantasy info and check us out at FantasyFootballFirst.com.